Hi everyone, this side I've created to create. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share a project with you guys, or a process tutorial. I've had questions on the Scrapdiva Designs baby dress on how I did the collar on the one that I created. So in today's video I want to show you how I did that. Now you're going to need the baby dress mini album. All the links will be in the description box below. Please keep in mind that if you were to purchase items with those links, I will make a small commission. Those are affiliate links. That doesn't mean it will cost you any more or any less. Well, it will cost you less if you use my code. And the code will be in the description box below as well. It's C2C10. Anyway, it will be in the description box below. So you're going to need the Baby Girl mini album. You're going to need the baby word bundle. And I suggested, I only have two, but there is another one that is in the bundle that I don't own. But it's good if you get all of them, especially if you make mini albums, cards, and stuff like that. And then you're going to need the lace, the doily lace shaker tag die. So these are back in stock already. And what you get with this one is you get two different doily edges. I use the one with the hearts, and then you get two dies to create shakers. I recommend you leave one together. You know how they come one die inside of another and you have to snap them apart? Leave one together, so if you like creating shakers, you don't have to worry about lining up. So it's the laced edge shaker die tag, the Baby Girl mini album, and the Baby Girl mini album comes with the silhouette. It comes with a 4-piece layering bow. It comes with a band for the waist, and then it comes with the detail die of the dress that cuts out the hearts. And I already used it, so I have to put it aside, but I'll share it with you. I was already recording and I don't know what happened, you guys. So those are the ones that I used for this project. And the first thing I was sharing with you guys, and my phone did something funky, was I cut out one of the doily lace die. And all I did, let me put this back in place. Let me put a little piece of washi, just temporarily hold it so you guys can see. So all I did was line up my doily as far down as I wanted it to go on the top part of the dress. And then I added some washi tape to hold it in place. Now, out of this one, I can create two because I'm putting my tag hole to the side. So I can actually get one out of this half of the tag and one out of that half of the tag. So just position it, make sure it's in between here and from top to bottom as low as you want it to go. So that's all you need to know. Even if it passes on the side like this one's doing there, it doesn't matter because the die is going to cut it off. And then just put a piece of washi tape to hold it in place, run it through your machine, and this is what you're going to get. See, the die is going to cut out the tag to the shape of the collar of that dress. And I'm sorry that I didn't get to show this when I was lining it up because my camera did something funky, but you were able to see it now. So if I wanted to cut out a second one, awesome, this gives me an opportunity. I would just again line up my doily tag die cut where however low I want the dress to be. So that looks about right. I would tape it there. Let me hold it down. And let's see. I want to make sure that all the hearts are about the same, in the same spot. I want a little bit more, I think. So just kind of line it up as low as you want it to go. That looks about right to me. Maybe a little bit more this way. And this is where I would take my washi tape and just tape it down. So just, and I try to place my washi tape on the top portion that I'm not really going to use. That way it doesn't damage the collar. So there it is. I would run this through the machine, and when it comes back out, this collar would fit perfectly on my die cut. See how good that looks? So that's how you cut that out. But I already cut mine out, so I'm just showing you the process. So I cut out the main piece in a matte gold, kind of similar to that Anna Griffin gold. Let me adjust my... I cut it out in a matte gold. And you can emboss this or not. If you emboss it, it's very, very pretty. But because we're going to add the whole die cut on top, it kind of covers most of it up. So I wouldn't even bother with embossing. So for this, I'm going to use a hot glue gun, not to tape this down, but I'm going to do something on here that is a little bit different. And then I took another piece of another designer paper and I cut it out again. So you can cut it apart and save the portions. Right now I'm only using the top, and that's going to go here. And then we're going to add the collar here, the same as the bottom of the dress. So what I want to do to this, before I even glue it together, any of those pieces, I want to add a piece of organza. So I just kind of ran a needle through a piece of organza. It's even actually too long. It's cut crooked. It doesn't matter because you're going to glue it down, and that's what we're going to do now. Now I already have my hot glue gun is ready to go. So I'm going to start at one end, and I am going to smash it down because I don't want it to be bulky. And I'm going to just kind of press this down to glue it down. And I have a piece like an inch left over because I'm going to wrap it around to the back. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Try staying below the top. You see the band. It's got, you can see it. I don't know if you can see it now, but it's got that waistband area. And that waistband area has score lines on the top and bottom. So I'm trying to stay below that. And organza wants to be silly. But it doesn't matter if you don't, because we're going to add the top piece. So there is my organza, and everything I have left over will be wrapped to the back like that. I still have my needle in here because I haven't decided how, you want to leave the needle in there because if you want to pleat more, gather more, or at least the thread, a long edge, because you want to be able to move those pleats around. Like if I wanted to move these pleats around, all I would have to do would be to pull them and slide them down. And I want to wrap that around. So that's all you have to do. That's why you want to leave long tails. But there's also something else I want to do here. So I'm going to glue down this side and then the other side. And I'm not going to trim the bottom or anything because I'm going to fold it under, but after. So I'm just going to turn it to the back. I hope this comes out the way I wanted to. And I'm going to add glue to the edge of the dress so I can glue this in place. The glue comes right through the organza. It gets on my fingers, my fingertips. So right now I can cut off my needle because I've already glued what I want down. So I'm going to go ahead and just take my needle off. And I am going to add more glue here because I really don't want it to come undone. So I'm going to add glue right here to the waist and glue this down, and hopefully the thread will be caught up in the glue as well. Okay, can I have my fingers back, please? There is silicone fingertips that you can wear, and I own them. I do own them. Maybe I should put one on, right? These are, I think these are made by Mod Podge, and that way it doesn't get on you. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to add glue down the side, and we're going to glue it in place. So, and I can gather this as much as I want. And I'm just going to just glue it down. And I don't want to glue it tight because I want it to have movement in the front. Maybe I should have done it a little bit more tight. Let me check. Yeah, I think I'm going to bring it in more. See, I want it to be more like this than like that. And I think I still have time to remove it. Yeah. And bring it and add more glue and bring it in some more. Yeah, I like the where it's touching better than not. So I'm going to just fold over the organza, and then I'm going to add glue back here as well and make sure that the waist portion is glued down, at least a part of it. You can trim it off or you cannot. I'm going to add dimensional tape to mine, so even if I don't trim it off, it doesn't matter because I'm going to add dimension. So let me cut off these strings. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I don't know if you guys have seen when the tutus that have little flowers, daisies, and different things in them. That's the effect I want here. So I picked out some of my flowers that have a little pearl in them, and they're made of very soft, almost organza. So I'm going to tuck these into my little dress. Let me take this off for now. So I'm going to tuck it into the little dress and make sure that that they can move around freely. You don't glue these down. These are just meant to move around inside the dress or the tutu. I've seen it done in tutus and I've seen it in dresses. And if you have smaller ones, that's good too. Another thing I'm going to add to that is the little hearts that came out of the die cut, because they are in cream color. So they can kind of float around almost like a shaker, and they don't have to be double-sided because they're the same color on both sides. So I'm going to add these in there too as part of the shaker bits that are floating around. So now I'm going to get this portion right here, and I am going to glue it to the back. So there is my little dress, but I'm going to do it a little loosely so they can move around quite a bit. So I'm going to flip this to the back, and I'm going to glue it so nothing comes out. So let's glue this portion down right here so nothing comes out. Let's do the same to this portion that we just wrapped over so nothing comes out. It won't anyway because we added glue on the edges, but we just want to clean it up a little bit. And I'm going to trim this just a little bit because I feel it is kind of long and you don't want that much bulk. So I'm just cutting off a strip. Now you could also have, if I would have thought about it, I would have folded the piece that I had in half. And then I would have ran the stitching through it, and it would give me a double layer thickness of the organza. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to glue the bottom down. And that's all I'm doing, gluing the bottom portion down. And then I'm going to flip this up and I'm going to glue this down as well. So nothing, see, we're closing all that up so nothing comes out. So let me add some glue here. I'm just adding glue. This is great because it keeps it from getting stuck to my fingers. And we're going to add glue here and we're going to close it all up. And then we can trim off the excess. It does not have to be tight or anything, but you do want to make sure everything is glued down. So there is the front of the dress, and it has our little flowers that, well, the hearts are moving. The flowers aren't moving too much, but maybe it's just a little too tight. Let me pull it down a little bit. Nope, I don't think I can. So if you want your flowers to move around, you might not want to tighten this as much. You want to leave it a little bit more room. I just didn't want them to fall to the back. So there is my baby dress, and now I can go in and trim off all the extra so it won't stick out of my card in any way. This looks okay. And I think I want to add a little bit more glue right here as well. I feel like it's not glued down. So make sure everything is glued down so you don't have any issues with your card. Let me let that dry for a minute. Take my little finger protector off. Look at that, guys. Look at how gorgeous that is with the little flowers in it. How precious is that? So, and you could add other shaker bits to this if you wanted to, but I don't want to. You see the way this stays up? It doesn't matter because I'm going to add dimensional tape to the back after I put it all together. So now I'm going to add this portion to it, but I am going to shape this first. I'm going to shape the dress, the sleeves on the dress. I'm looking for my tools. So I'm going to shape the sleeves on the dress, and they do have score marks, and you will be able to see them, so you could actually bend them, and they kind of curve. They're curved score marks. And this one is like to the corner. Or maybe this should be back and this one should be forward. We'll see. And then this one curves towards, to give it a little bit of something. That's not how I'm going to shape it, but I just want you to know that those score marks are there. And the reason they are there is to give your dress some more body and more movement. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ball tool, and right here where I have all the scalloped edges, that's where I'm going to shape. So I'm just going to take my ball tool and just kind of swirl it around on those, in those areas, because I want it to look to be rounded. So I'm going to do that on both of them. Bigger one. And I use, depending on how big the scallop is, I kind of switch back and forth in the sizes. So that's all I'm going to do there. So there is my scalloped edges, and they even have little wrinkles in them like ruffles, and that's what you want. So remove this. We're done with this. I usually try to keep all my tools that I work with right under my counter where I work. So now we're going to add this here, but I'm not going to add dimension to this. I'm going to add dimension to the waist portion of it, and I'm also going to add dimension to the bow. So I'm going to try and keep this pretty flat, and I'm going to use glue, and in the waist I'm going to use hot glue, but in this portion I'm just going to use regular glue. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing, that I'm staying in frame. Sometimes I forget. So I'm going to add just a little bit of glue here because I want to make sure that it stays down. So let's line it up. Make sure you line it up before your glue takes a hold. There it is, nice and lined up. And now I'm going to press the waist down to make sure it's glued down on the waist portion of it. And I think I'm going to, I didn't glue the sleeves down, this portion down, so I'm going to pick it up a little bit. See? And I feel like I need some more glue somewhere. So I'm going to just lift those up. I don't even need to add dimensional tape or anything. They're going to stay up like that. So now let's add the collar. Here is the collar. I'm not going to add dimension to that either. So I'm going to just add glue around the section that doesn't have all the little hearts. So it'll be nice and clean. And I'm going to add it right there. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty? So now we're going to add the waist piece to the dress. This is the portion that is a little strip. Well, there is score marks above and below this piece. on the dress, and you will know exactly where to line it up. On this one, I am going to add a little bit of dimension. Let me grab my foam tape. So I'm going to add dimension to this. And it's not very thick foam tape at all, but it is foam tape. I think this one's from the Dollar Tree, you guys. The one that comes with the 3 rolls. And it's not very thick. That's what I'm using here. Not the one that comes in sections, but the one that comes with 3 rolls in it. Let me move these out of the way. They keep wanting to hog the camera. So, anytime I add dimensional tape to my project, I do also add glue. So I'm going to add glue as well to the back of the foam tape. And I did use a glitter piece because I wanted it to stand out from everything else that was blending in. So I wanted a little bit of sparkle in there. So I'm just going to line this up where it goes. That's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Ah, I think I have it upside down. No, I don't think so. Nope, that's the correct way. It kind of curves up, and that's the correct way you want to put it on there. So there is the waist portion of it. And now let's add the bow to it. We can also actually add it to this section, because look at how gorgeous that's going to look, you guys. We can add it here because we're done with as far as the back is concerned. So I'm going to add some dimensional tape, and this is going to be higher or thicker dimensional tape than the rest. So I'm going to add a piece there. And you can add hot glue to that to make sure it's going to stick, and I probably will do that there. I think one more piece. And I'm going to add one there. So this is going to give my dress plenty of height. And I think I'm going to add hot glue to the back of this tape to make sure it does not come undone. Not the portion that's on the paper, but the one that's on the organza. Just make sure you squeeze some glue in there so it'll stay. This one will stay. This is pretty tacky stuff that I use here. See, this even wants to pull up from the organza where I didn't add the glue. Come on. So anywhere you think it's going to lift up, make sure to add some hot glue as far as the tape that's touching the fabric or whatever you happen to use. Sometimes we use glitter paper and it really doesn't want to stick. So that's where you would want to use that. So I added a little bit of glue, and I'm going to line this up as good as I possibly can. So I'm going to pick it up. Actually, no, let me just leave it down. And I'm going to try and be as exact as I possibly can be. Oh, that's gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Yep, that's about right. So I'm making sure that's touching, lifting up my sleeves if they happen to get smashed down. Oh, look at how gorgeous, look at how precious that is. So make sure you squeeze back here, because when you add fabric, it adds bulk to there and it won't lay evenly. But by squeezing the tape down, it kind of, everything's at the same level. So there's my dress, you guys. Isn't that gorgeous? So now let's add the bow. Now, normally I would shape the bow. I'm not going to do it in this one because the same way as I did the sleeves, I would do my bow. I'm not going to do that because it's in metallic foil, and that would just kind of, it wouldn't look pretty. So I'm going to add my first one without layers, and then my next ones are going to have layers. And I am going to add hot glue because it's going on glitter paper instead of adding glue. And you can put it in the center, you can put it in the corner. I like doing the corner, so I'm just going to add it to the corner there. Hot glue on me. And now I'm going to use the foam tape for the rest of the pieces. Where's my foam tape? Right here. So I'm going to add foam tape to the back of my pieces. And this again, I'm going back to that smaller, thinner foam tape. And I think this one's 1/4 of an inch. And it comes with 3 different size rolls in the pack. And they are, like I said, from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to add 3 small pieces. And I'm going to add some more to the other part. So you do get 4 pieces for the bow. You get a full bow, a half bow without the tail, then a half bow of this one, and then you get that little topper piece. If you have foam dots, you can use that. I have foam dots, but sometimes they're just too dimensional, and I want something just a little bit more flat. Not completely flat, just a little bit more. So there's that one, and then I'm going to add it to the little piece that goes there. And I'm just going to add a little piece there, nothing major, like it's tiny. Okay, let me move my tape out of the way and let me clean up my, throw away the backings. And so now I'm going to start layering. Again, I am going to add glue to the back of the tape. Not too much because I wanted to have an instant grab and then a long-term grab that it gets with the glue when the glue dries. So just little bits, not everywhere, just a little bit. So there's 2 little humps on top, same as the top of the bow. That's how you know what direction to put these in. And I'm going to try and line it up as best as I can. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going in with the next one. This bow is gorgeous. I love it. I think that the way it was designed, it's genius because it kind of looks like you can see when you tie a bow, you have the inside loops, and you sometimes in the bows you can see that, or most of the time. And this bow was designed that way where you could see, that's what this half portion is. So you can see like the inner portion of the loop. And then this one has the flat on the bottom, so this goes on the bottom half of the bow. And we're going to try and line it up as best as possible. There it goes. So see how it looks like it's the inside of the bow where the loops are. And now we're going to add this last little piece to it. Now here you could add a flower, you could add a rhinestone, you could add whatever you want, but I'm going to add the portion that is for that. And it does have the humps on top, so I know where it goes. Look at how gorgeous. Look at how precious that is. And of course I use the word precious from the baby word bundle to add. So let's put it onto our card. Not sure if I want foam yet, but here's the card that I made. Make sure your card opens the right way. Now this is big enough to be a card on its own, but I wanted to add a base to it. Let's say you were creating this for a christening or something like that. This is gorgeous, you guys. So I want mine at a little bit of an angle, but I can't get too much of an angle because remember I told you this die is big enough to be a card in itself. So I didn't want to create an extremely large card. Now here goes. I can lift it up and add more dimension, and I think I'm going to do that because there it is flat. But look at how it looks when you add dimension to it. So I'm going to add more dimension to the back. And again, I want it to be pretty high. So I'm going to add my thicker foam. Listen guys, if we're going to create a card, let's not create something that anybody can get in any store. Create something that's uniquely to your style. It's unique to your way of crafting. And because you're the creator, we're not limited to, oh, it has to fit in the envelope, because we create our own envelopes. We create our own boxes. So we do not need that. We can create them as dimensional as we want. And like I said, I'm going to put this one going across. Like I said, I love dimension in my projects. I have a very hard time creating a flat project. So, this tape, I picked it up from Amazon. I will link it in the description box, but it's actually for windows. And it's the perfect thickness for a certain project I was working on. This was the perfect thickness, and because it's made for windows, it sticks, like seriously. So I'm still going to add glue because that gives me a little wiggle room. If you have that glue, that fabric tack, that would be really good because it's a gel and it gives you even more room to move it around a little bit before it sticks down permanently. So I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to put it at a slight angle, and making sure that my dress, even though it's at an angle, is still staying within the perimeters of my card. Look at how gorgeous that is. Oh my goodness. Who wouldn't want to receive a card for their new baby or christening as gorgeous as this? I'm not tooting my horn, guys. I believe this is a beautiful die, and you can do so much with it. So now I'm going to add the word precious down here to the corner, and you guessed it, I'm going to add dimensional tape to it. This time I'm going to add the circle ones because this is, you know, you have certain spaces that you can work and you don't want the tape to be showing everywhere. And these are pretty high, so I like the, you know, depending on what I'm doing, I like certain heights of foam tape. So I'm going to add, and because they're circles, you can put them, even if they were little squares, you could put them wherever you want. You know, sometimes a straight strip just doesn't work for your project. I think I need one more, and that's going to go there. Gorgeous. I don't have the word anything that will go with a christening, but like for a birthday party, this would be perfect. For it, like a princess birthday party, you know, the princess needs a pretty dress. You know, for a new baby, you know, there's different things that you can use. It doesn't have to be for a christening. It can be for anything. Let's add some glue. I love this. I thought precious was perfect for this because, you know, because of the dress. Like, it's really, really nice. You know, the papers. It's all about what dye that you use, but also what material you use. So I'm going to try and put this as straight as I possibly can down here. Oh, yes. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, if you have a Scrapdiva, I have some things out here. I don't think I have any out, though. I was going to say if you had some of her capsula leaves and stuff, you could definitely, like, tuck them coming out from under the dress. I didn't even think about it before I did the video, you guys. But you could definitely tuck them out, add some flowers. The reason I didn't add flowers is because the flowers are inside my little dress. Look at that, you guys. How gorgeous is that? Anyway, guys, that's all that I wanted to share with you guys to kind of explain how I did the collar, because I did have questions about that. And remember, whether you're using a bow, um, anything that's big enough to fit that circle, you can turn it into a collar, because even this portion right here, that looks like it could be a collar. Just it won't give you too much room to work with, but it is doable. So anyway, that's what I created. I hope that you like what I created, and I hope that this inspires you guys. It's not all about, you know, making a commission. I love to craft. That is my passion. I have a passion for paper crafting, and so it's not just about that. It's about doing what you love, and I love doing this. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a great day, and God bless. Bye.